Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. Without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of The Herd with Colin Cowherd, talking about the Bears, Chicago Bears, and Caleb Williams. And I don't know if this has to do with regards to Justin Fields or what the story is. I was queuing up this clip, and it says, Peter King, says that the Bears should trade the top pick, which I have no idea why he said that. I haven't seen it, so hopefully Colin addresses why. It seems like, just based off the title, Colin thinks that they can't pass on Caleb Williams, which I wholeheartedly agree. I can't believe that this is even a question, quite honestly. It's quite shocking to me. I don't know if all of these things are happening to try to just boost different scenarios and value of either the pick or Justin Fields or whatnot, what that kind of whole little economy, how that all works in that regard. But to me, it's like such a no-brainer for really just two of the biggest reasons. One, you reset, the rookie clock, which is invaluable. Go ask the 49ers how that's working out for them. Invaluable, immeasurable. And not to mention, Caleb Williams has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks we have seen in decades. So how could you possibly pass on that? If Caleb Williams ends up not being that and he ends up being a massive bust, then so be it. That's just the way it goes, okay? But to pass up on that opportunity would be insane. So let's see what he has to say.
When I saw this, I didn't make a big deal of it because it was buried at the bottom of the column, and he didn't really have it sourced, but he did say, quote, "I suppose the Bears are going to trade the top pick. I know nothing."
Excuse me.
So I didn't take much into it, but he says it seems to be the way the wind is blowing, and Peter talks about the Bears taking lots of picks and moving down again and getting all these picks and dominating the next two drafts. And I thought about this morning. What is the only difference in the last 32 years between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears? They play in the same division, same crappy weather in the winter, both huge brands.
Quarterback play.
Same division, same conference. They've both had legendary coaches, at least for a year or two over the last 32 years. Mike Ditka, Mike Holmgren. I mean, they've both had a lot of Pro Bowlers. The Packers, over the last 32 years, have had 51 Pro Bowlers. The Bears have had 43. What's the difference? The Bears can't get quarterback right, and the Packers always get quarterback right. Favre, Rodgers, and Jordan Love, in 32 years, have taken 96% of the snaps. Love looks really good. They've done it again. The Bears in that time, in 32 years, have had 38 different quarterbacks take a snap. That's embarrassing. And once again, here is Chicago with an opportunity to change their quarterback franchise, fortunes, momentum, inertia. And already you're hearing Peter King say, "I suppose they'll trade out of the number one pick." Here's two things to know about Caleb Williams. Over the last 2 years, he's led the nation in offense. The Pac-12's probably the best it's been over those last 2 years in 30 years. And he has had one elite player, one in 2 years, at either wide receiver, tight end, running back, or O-line. One, Jordan Addison. One. That's it. They ain't Georgia, Texas, Bama, Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson. One. And he's led the nation in offense. The second thing to know is he's lost 8 games in 2 years. And in those 8 losses, USC's defense surrendered 43 points a game. He lost by shootouts. The only difference in 32 years between the Packers and the Bears, one never gets the quarterback right, and one always gets the quarterback right. Both have had close to 45 Pro Bowlers in 32 years. Both have had a legendary coach. Both same division, same conference, same weather, northern tier teams. Big brands. Fox loves putting the Bears on. Fox loves putting the Packers on. Not just the Cowboys network, not just an Eagles network. We love the Bears. We love the Packers. The difference is, ask yourself this, Chicago. What would Green Bay do with the number 1 pick? First, they wouldn't have it because they're competent. Secondly, they would draft Caleb Williams because it's what Green Bay does. Always gets the quarterback right. I hear this all the time, but you can trade it down and get dozens of picks. When you get the quarterback right, draft picks become much less important. Lamar Jackson in 6 years has had one legitimate big-time playmaking receiver. He's won 75% of his games. Josh Allen's won 75% of his games as a starter. And he finally this year had a running game emerge. Those are pretty important. Patrick Mahomes' wide receivers led the NFL in drops. He won the Super Bowl. If you get the quarterback right, never forget this. Even if you took out the 7th round and just counted 6, over 35% of draft picks miss. Over 25% of first-round picks miss. It's not about draft picks. It's about getting the quarterback right.
So, I completely agree with everything he just said there. And I think, again, you have to ask yourself, and I think the better question is not what would the Packers do? What would Andy Reid do? Would he draft Caleb Williams or stay with Justin Fields? Okay? I think he would get Caleb. What do you think Kyle Shanahan would do? What do you think Sean McVay would do? What do you think Sean Payton would do? What do you think Harbaugh would do? What do you think Shane Steichen would do? I mean, like, what do you think all these great either up-and-comers or already established GOATs, offensive minds do? They all want Caleb Williams. So why do you think you're going to get cute here? Why do you think the Bears are going to try to do something, different? Oh, well, look what we could do. Caleb Williams is so important. What could have the Cavaliers done when they had the number 1 pick with LeBron James? Would it have been better for them to trade down and get other picks and they can build and do that? No, getting LeBron James was a organizational, generational changing move for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay? Instantly better, instantly relevant, instantly winning. To think that the Bears would do this, the only reason why I want the Bears to do this because I'm so curious to where this trade would go, where Caleb Williams would go. I want to see Caleb go to the AFC rather than the NFC, but that's definitely more for my own personal reasons rather than anything else. But I it's just it's tough because I want to see Caleb succeed, but if he succeeds, but if he's with the Bears and then fails, then I'll feel bad, but it's better for some of the other teams in the NFC that I root for. So, from a strictly personal thing, it's I don't know where I want to see Caleb go. I would take Caleb on my team any day of the week, 1,000%. He is absolutely worth a shot. A lot of people want to say that he's not a winner in college and that he was a crybaby, and they try to poke holes, and it's just so absurd. What you're capable of doing in college and the control that you have is so minimal. So minimal. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes, didn't just ball out. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes wasn't the number 1 pick, this bona fide number 1 pick. Okay? The average person had no idea who Patrick Mahomes was. Again, you big college ballers and you big NFL fans knew who Patrick Mahomes were. Not, you guys know. Okay? But again, everyone knows who Caleb Williams is right now because of who he's playing. Same thing with LeBron James, right? Everyone knew who LeBron James was. Everyone knew. It's just, there's just different degrees of magnitude of this type of player. It is universally seen outside of people who are just weirdly hating on Caleb that they just think oh, he's got bust potential, which again, to me is absurd. And the only reason why he won't reach his potential is if the Chicago Bears do just completely just mismanage everything. And quite frankly, I don't have a lot of faith in Chicago if they're actually even remotely entertaining. The only way you could ever entertain this idea, and I only half-heartedly believe this, quite honestly, because I don't even know. I have to think about it more. But I've said the statement before, and it's an impossible scenario, is that you say Justin Fields, hey, buddy, you obviously did not play like some, reset the market value quarterback. You're not getting paid $60 million a year here. We're going to sign you for like a $20 million contract here, okay? 20 million, 30 million. Again, I'm making up numbers, but it's just severely underpaying them. Brock Purdy money, okay? $900,000. Obviously, that's too low, but something insanely low. And being like, and then we're going to trade down and we're going to get multiple picks and we are going to juice this team up to the gills. Your only responsibility is going to minimize your mistakes. That's all you have to do is stay healthy and minimize your mistakes. And we are going to win the Super Bowl because we got 5 number 1 receivers, 3 number 1 running backs, an offensive line that no one can get through, and a defensive, pass rush that makes every single quarterback afraid. And again, I'm making up an extreme scenario, obviously, but that's what you would need. And that's the only way you could justify it. Or if they went out and got the next Andy Reid, or Andy Reid got fired for whatever reason, and they signed the Eagles bringing over, the Chiefs got Andy Reid from the Eagles, and he was available again, and so now the Bears were able to get him, or Harbaugh, or again some of these other guys. Sean McVay's like, all right, I'm out of here. Shanahan's like, I'm done with the 49ers. They want me out of here. I'm gone. The Bears want me. Let's go. Right. Then I could maybe potentially understand it, because now you're talking about a brilliant coach and you can maybe make even more magic happen. But again, even those scenarios that I mapped out, Sean McVay wants Williams, Shanahan wants Williams, Andy Reid wants Williams. They all want it. So go with the offensive geniuses in this regard. Don't try to be too smart for your own good, because that's what trading Caleb, that number 1 pick does. Okay. There's no way your in-house, talent scouts and all those people are evaluating him and saying, you know what, we just don't think Caleb's going to be that good. What they're trying to think is, hey, look what happens if we trade. Look at all these resources we can get, these players. We could build an amazing team. Justin Fields is maybe a C, but if we build this team and we can maybe, develop him and build him up to being a B or an A, and that would be amazing, right? And then we'll be able to do all this. Nah. You're trying to make magic out of nothing here. Okay? I mean, you just are. And again, ask yourself this question. This will be my final point. And I've said this a lot recently. Do the 49ers win if Josh Allen is the quarterback? Yes. Do the 49ers win if Joe Burrow is the quarterback? Yes. That's your answer right there. And that is not a knock on Brock Purdy, but it's without a doubt. When you have a better quarterback, your team is better. If you had to choose between having an amazing quarterback and an okay roster, or an okay roster, or an amazing roster and a good quarterback, the better quarterback will win every single time. You're better off with that situation, especially if you have a legit coach. And that's the biggest problem, actually. That's probably one of the biggest problems that the Bears have. They have no true offensive identity and offensive coach, and that is why they have been struggling for 30 plus years. Because the difference between the Packers and the Bears, to go back to Colin's example, is that the Packers are offense driven and the Bears are defense driven. It's 2024. Defense does not win championships. Offense wins championships. Unless you have a GOAT quarterback. That's the only exception. And here's your chance to potentially get a GOAT quarterback in Caleb Williams. Justin Fields is not him. But those are my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. please let me know them in the comments below. I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, please let me know. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.